Tony, toss it over to you.
All right, we're going to talk more about allergies in our Health Watch this morning. The weather seems like it has finally broken. Spring is here. Unfortunately, great weather in our area means springtime allergies for many people. Trees, grasses, and weeds all add pollen to the air, so it's difficult to escape it entirely. But there are some things you can do to alleviate the symptoms. Joining us now with that information and much more is Dr. Srinagesh Paluvoi, a pediatric allergist with allergy and asthma affiliates located in Leesburg, Gainesville, and Falls Church, Virginia. Doctor, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Did I get the name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Very good, excellent. Thanks for coming in. I suffer from allergies, as do many people in the region. It has already started a little bit. So let's talk about, first of all, the season seemed to start early this year, am I right?
Yes, you're very right, absolutely. Because we had a nice weather in early March, and spring pollen started to bloom. Then we had a dip in temperature, and we had a snowstorm that caused the dormant pollens, and also it made the trees to suppress the pollen production. Then we had this warm temperature last few days. That's where there's an explosion of tree pollen.
Yeah.
So that's where you see a lot.
We're off and running now.
Right.
I mean, we got the warm temperatures. Even it's going to go down a little bit this weekend, but it's still going to be 60 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go.
That's good enough for the pollen to come.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you feel people can do. And I mentioned you're a pediatric allergist.
That's correct.
Are there things that are different about kids and allergies than from adults and allergies?
Yes, because of the age, and some kids may not show signs and symptoms like what we do have, but one has to recognize that and treat accordingly.
Okay.
Because always we don't give the same medicine what the children are going to get.
All right, so you want to know that.
Just that.
You brought some props with you, some of the things that we can do to alleviate the symptoms. Why don't you guys, now I know many of these. At least I know what this is. Is this a modern version of that?
There's the neti pot, yeah.
Neti
That's
pot.
the sinus rinse. That's the best thing to do to start with in the spring season. When we have a lot of pollen, use the neti pot or even simple saline nasal spray to clean the nasal passages and sinus passages so that there won't be any pollen or bacteria going to the sinuses, and sometimes it causes recurrent infections.
Because, well, in fact, the hair in your nose, it helps protect you from most things.
That's
but
correct.
The pollens can get stuck up in there.
It can.
Okay.
It can.
So that's a rinse. I know some people are disgusted by this, but it does work.
Yeah, it does work. It's a process.
Yeah, it is a process. All right, well, these are, what do we have here?
So we have over-the-counter antihistamines. One can start with either Claritin, Zyrtec, or Allegra, or we have even generics available in the pharmacies. They're cheaper. One can start with that and see how they respond to those medications.
Is it possible that, like, even if you're getting allergy shots, that you get used to them and you at some time have to change to a different medication?
Well, we haven't talked about allergy shots. We're talking about just medications first. Suppose if someone doesn't have time or can't do the shots, at least you can start with the medications. If they don't respond to the over-the-counter medications, then they can talk to their physician or an allergist for other prescription medications. You can see several nasal sprays and eye drops. They can be used during the spring season.
To relieve that itching and the like.
Coming back to allergy shots, what you mentioned, that's next best thing to cure, we say. About 90% people respond to the shots, but there's time involved, and once they start in early age, they respond very well.
Right, so their shots work well. All right, hats, what does a hat do?
Well, just a prevention. As you know, in the windy, warm days, we have lots of pollen out there. We always recommend to wear sunglasses and hats, definitely to reduce the pollen exposure. And also sometimes we recommend the face mask, because that's very important, especially one is mowing the lawn or outdoor activities like gardening. So definitely that is helpful to reduce the pollen coming into the nose. I
actually see more and more people wearing these, and I have to say there have been times where it's been so bad for me, I've worn one as well.
Sure, sure. You have to look for 95% of the pollen blockage.
Oh, so, you have to look for that?
Yeah,
yes. Okay, all right.
So usually you can get them in local pharmacies.
Now this says N95 on it. Is that what that means?
Yes, N95. Okay. That's what exactly I meant.
Very good. I did not know that. All right. Any other advice you want to give before we wrap it up?
Well, again, as you know, why we are having more allergies, there is a a study from the Annals of Allergy and Asthma Immunology says that by 2040, the pollen counts may be double.
Oh.
Imagine what we're having right now.
I'll put my hat on and get my neti pot ready. All right, that's good to know. Thank you, Dr. Paluvoi. We appreciate it. We'll see you again. Yes, stay well, stay healthy.